valuable and they are valid. And their not being able to tell you any of those things is not a reflection on you, but is a reflection on them. Because if they do not feel love for themselves, or they do not feel love from their higher power, then they are unable to extend that love to you. Because if you don't have, if you're trying to give a gift, but there is absolutely no gift for you to give, your pockets are empty, there's no food in the cupboards, there's nothing around, it's not that you don't really, really, really want to give the gift, it's just that there's nothing there. And so if the person that you care about is in this place where they have no gift to give, they can love you and they can adore you or appreciate you or care about you, but there is nothing for them to offer you. And so it's not about you doing anything wrong. It's not about you feeling that you didn't do good enough or show up enough. It's just the point that their tank is empty and there's no exchange. So I actually want to start, I will get back to the vagal social nerve. It's really cool, but I want to go to building a routine and claiming attributes for yourself. So have you guys ever heard the word affirmations or declarations? Okay. I have struggled with them for a really long time because I always kind of felt like I was just pulling stuff out of thin air, and so my brain was always like, I'm sorry, I just don't believe you. Like, we don't see any evidence of this in your outside life. We don't think that it's happening at all, so we just don't believe you. We're going to disengage and run away. And I was like, but everybody that I've ever talked to just said, choose 3 good things to say about yourself, tell them to yourself 3 times, and your life will change. I chose 3 good things that I liked about myself. Well, 3 good things, just period. 3 good things, period. I said them 3 times a day, and I woke up every morning dreading having to do that because I felt worse about myself after than I did when I started. So, this is affirmations, declarations, my style. Choose things that you already believe to be true. And I don't care what that is. I don't care if that's you tie your shoes really well, if you've got fantastic taste in earrings, if you think that you stop at traffic lights really well. Whatever it is, choose something that you feel you already have, because then that's what you're building off of. So, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm slightly dissatisfied in my current working arrangement. And I decided that I wanted to build something different for myself. But I was like, but what do I have to offer? Because all I could see in my current place was things that other people did not value or appreciate about me. And so I had to step back and realize, just because that doesn't jive with their values and with their perspective does not lessen what I have to offer. And in fact, proves to me I want to be somewhere where they do value that. So, I chose to think about things that I knew that I was good at, that people in other areas of my life, other stages of my life had told me I was good at, or just the things that I went, man, I'm really good at that. Because I hope, does everybody everybody in the room have one thing that you just know, whether anybody else will ever recognize it or ever see it or think it's a good thing? For yourself, does everybody in the room have something that they're like, man, I am really good at that? Okay, I want you to write it down. And if you need, there's paper and pen in the back. Or you can put it on a phone, just somewhere that there is still access to it after. Okay, now I'm gonna go a little bit side notice, but it goes and I feel like I should say it, so we're just gonna go with it. Okay, if you know what a patriarchal blessing is, you will be informed in that blessing of certain gifts and talents that you came to the earth possessing. I encourage you to start there, because he's not going to lie to you, and he's known you longer than you've known you. So that, for me, in my patriarchal blessing, it says that I have been blessed with the ability to see a problem and to bring about a solution. That is a very wordy declaration if I say, I am blessed to see a problem and bring about a solution. It's really good parlance, though. But what is the briefer version of that? I am a born problem solver. That's just what I do. And so if you have someone, if you don't have a patriarchal blessing, if there's someone that you just trust that sees you better than you see you, ask them a couple things about you. And just be like, what have you seen about me? What are innate characteristics that just define me? So for me, I said, I am a born problem solver. Second, I am empathetic communicator. And this just comes from talking to people, and they're like, wow, you know how to ask good questions, or you just understood what I was talking about. So I claimed that one. And then the last one, collaborator. So these are things that I have recognized in myself. And what I have discovered is that when doubts or negative energy or frustrating things show up in my life, and that I'm getting frustrated about them, that's what I go to. Because how empowering is it to say, and so I say my full name, I am Allison Fabricius Gardner. I am a born problem solver. I am an empathetic communicator and collaborator. It just kind of was like, wow, like these are things that nobody can take away from me. These are things that nobody has any effect on. This has nothing to do with anybody else. This doesn't touch on whether anybody else thinks this about me. This doesn't touch on whether anybody else can support me in those areas. That's just about me claiming what makes me confident and what helps me be my best self. Because when we go into interactions feeling is unconfident a word? If we go into conversations feeling a lack of confidence, then we're bringing with us this whole energy of fear, this whole energy of kind of, we're begging people to either support us, or we're begging people to contradict us and say, no, you're really not those things. And so if you're going into conversations feeling negative, if feeling doubt, feeling that you're not enough, then every conversation is either an opportunity to confirm one of those things. If, however, we go into a conversation feeling confident, then we leave that conversation feeling confident because we already made the choice for ourselves. And you'd be surprised at how much that actually does for all of your relationships. Because if you're not depending on other people to confirm your confidence, then it doesn't matter whether the conversation goes well or goes poorly. You already know who you are, and you already know what you claim for yourself. If when you wake up in the morning, the only thing that you can claim for yourself is, I brush my teeth really well, that's still something you got that you just claimed for yourself. So I hope that you guys will keep that one in mind. And I would also encourage you to create a routine around these things. Don't wait until they're under attack to say them. Don't wait until something is going wrong to try and boost your confidence. Make it part of your everyday life that you are just going to support yourself. Because that is one of the biggest things you can do to refill your tank when other things are going on and other people are in your life, is that you set the intention of the day that your tank is going to be okay. And you set at the beginning of the day that you are confident and that you are able. As an example of this, whenever things get, so I came to realize this in the last few months in my various relationships, that I had a tendency, because when you're in the bottom of this spot right here, when you're down there and everything feels negative and everything feels awful and rotten and the fridge is broken and the computer is broken and the groceries are gonna die and all of these things, that you feel like it will never be good again. And so you focus all of your energy on how bad it is. And I've done that cycle a lot. I've done that cycle a lot with my spouse, and I've done that cycle a lot with myself, of just being like, everything that I have right now is awful, and everything that's around me is awful, and I'm frustrated about this, and I'm frustrated about this, and I'm frustrated about this. And recently the cycle was like, I feel like I have no power, I feel like I have no voice, I feel like what I need and what I want doesn't matter, and that no one cares. And so everything that I looked at just built on that, because that was the evidence that I was looking for. But I was taught one day that instead of tearing down what is, I should build what could be. And so I have now spent my time going, okay, yeah, today is rough. And always, 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 this probably is gonna fly in the face of any other motivational speaker that you'll ever hear. Yeah, acknowledge it's hard. Acknowledge that where you're at is rough. Acknowledge that where you are right now is not where you want to be. Give yourself the grace to be like, yeah, right now, don't like it. Right now, it's rough. Right now, not a fan. However, what I do want, where I do want to go, where I do want to be, is going to be these things. And so that's what I started doing. Instead of focusing on what was in that moment and how frustrated I was in that moment and how unsupported I felt in my marriage or how unsupported I felt at work or in my calling or in any of these other things, I went, okay, so if that makes me miserable, what do I want in the future that doesn't make me miserable? And so I started building with this declaration. I'm a born problem solver, I'm a communicator, I'm a collaborator, I'm a bringer of joy. And where I'm going next will love that I'm a problem solver, and will love that I'm a communicator, and will love that I'm a collaborator. And the people in my life will value those things about me. Because then I'm bringing myself up to gratitude and happiness and joy and positivity and good things. So that I'm building, instead of looking for reasons to stay down here, I am looking for reasons to move up there. Because when we start inviting positive feelings and positive thoughts and ideas, then slowly our energy goes, but we feel really miserable. But that was a fun idea. We're still miserable though. But that was kind of a fun idea. But we're still really miserable. Ooh, but we like that idea. And slowly you trick your brain into liking more positive feelings and more positive emotions and more positive things. And so you slowly move out of that place, fully recognizing that where you were was miserable, but where you want to be is good. And so you shift the energy inside you to a better place, so that then you slowly move out of that dip into the next thing. And that works for if you're in the middle of it, or if you're supporting someone in the middle of it, recognizing where you are and then starting to allow yourself to think it could be different and move to a different place. With that, we're then going to move to the backpack. You probably wonder what a backpack has to do with any of this. That's a fair question. For me, the idea of the backpack is all about living with intention. Let's erase. So I was wondering one day, well, no, let me ask this question first. Have you guys ever woken up and you found yourself hating the day before it even starts? You're just not digging it. I can honestly say that I have not really had that problem until the last 6 months of my life. Generally, I woke up and I just went, okay, let's face today, and that was all I thought about it. But lately, I've had this struggle of waking up and actually being like, okay, today's gonna be great. I was like, you're lying through your teeth, go back to bed. And so I was like, what can I do to shift this? And that's one of the reasons why I would stay up so late. Because my brain, well, what myself was trying to tell my brain is, if we process these negative emotions before we go to bed,